Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Path of the Brush. I'm your host, Rick, here coming to you live from Hoplite Games in Lansing, Michigan. We're really excited to be here and do all the fun stuff that we do. Today is going to be a BattleTech day for a little while, I think, because we're doing basing today, which is something that we don't normally do on the show. So we're going to give it a look and see how it kind of show off our different techniques on basing. Will and Mark will be showing us what they do. Let's bring those guys forward if they're both here. I think Will is absolutely here.
Yes. And Mark was doing stuff with his daughter, so I think
All
he's
right.
just getting back home.
All right, cool. So yeah, so we're going to be doing basing, just kind of show off the miniatures that we've been working on. Here are my Minty's Marauders.
They're looking so minty.
I agree. So, and you can see below, I've got my basing stuff I'm going to use. So I'm going to be using from Army Painter, who has an amazing line of different basings that you can use for your different miniatures. I'll be using the brown battleground, which is kind of like a brown sand, and also some of this summer undergrowth, which is kind of interesting because when you think about what actual scale these models are to represent, these are like taller than trees, right? So this guy right here is going to be taller than trees. So if you were to put a tree in there, it would have to look like, you know, just almost microscopic in some regards. Um, so we're going to put some foliage in there to represent some sort of like green shrubberies be around it or something, but we'll figure it out and it'll be a lot of fun. So if you
Hey,
aren't normally basing your models, here's the opportunity. What's up, dude?
Hey, what up? I was having some technical difficulty.
Well, we're glad you're here.
yeah.
A
Here's
good
the guys
restart.
I've been working on.
Oh, a good restart will help out. That looks
Noise.
wonderful, Will.
Yeah,
I
those
like
look
what you
great.
did there.
Ooh,
Showcase them off. Let me see if I can
yeah,
replicate that exact same
Yeah.
pot.
The old turn it off,
nice.
turn it back on trick.
Right? All right. So here's my shadow box of gents. So I've got two that are golden boys, and then stay gold pony boy, and then the two that I'm gonna work on today, and then we'll do some accent colors. I have to make quick work of this because prime time
Nice.
took a little longer than normal.
Nice. And I figured we'll probably get our basings done relatively quickly, probably in the first half hour, maybe 45 minutes. So I brought a couple miniatures from a couple of different things
Oh,
to
great!
work on uh, for the rest of
That's
the time.
that's
It's going
good.
to spark some cool conversations.
They do look awesome. I got a sneak preview.
Yeah. All right. So what I do when I base them, because I don't, it doesn't have to be pretty and perfect for me. I usually just take basing glue, which is another product that you can get from the Army Painter. So this is your basing glue, and it's usually found and available right on the tools rack at your friendly local game store. So I'll just put a little dollop of that glue on my base, and then I'll take the back end of a brush and I just will push it around to get it to cover the entirety of that base, right? So, and if
You
it's
get
a
closer.
junk brush, which this one is not, I will use the bristle side too to make sure I get it pushed into the all the cracks and crevices as necessary.
Crevasse.
And I think I'm going to need to put a little bit more on there on the back side here. Boop, a little dollop.
So is that like a PVA glue mixture that they use?
Yeah, it is. It's a PVA glue. And honestly, um, if you're a baller on a budget, Elmer's glue works as well. But this is
This
made
big old
specially.
jug right here. Just,
Yeah,
I went
there
crazy on
you,
the PA.
yeah, you did.
I thought I need 64 ounces.
Who doesn't need 64 ounces? I mean, come on, for sure. And then what I do after that is I just put my base into the sand here, and I'll just move it around in there, and then I'll take it off and just let the basing that didn't stick to the glue just fall away, and then I'll give it a couple good taps. And it's basically, if you could leave it at that alone and it's fine, right? But we are going to play a little bit with these. So I'm going to base all of them with the sand first, and then I'm sorry, that one I'll do sand first. The next one I'm going to put some of this green foliage on it, and then I will do this. What are some techniques you guys use when basing? Anything in particular that is maybe a little different than what I do?
I'm fond of using. Well, I've gone through a few different iterations.
Mm-hmm.
The prepackaged like textured stuff, because I'm using some stuff that kind of looks like blacktop right now, because I don't have much that fits at this scale.
Yep.
But at other scales, I definitely use that same, like I put the PVA glue down and I use like this big grass.
Yep.
And then there's another, they do like tiny little orange leaves.
Oh, that's really neat. That does look nice.
Yeah, nice. And first put a layer of the grass down, and then put more glue over top of that, and then dunk it in some leaves in a smaller amount, so it looks like it's been, fall.
Absolutely. Another thing that people have done, and we may do on one of these, or you guys can do on one of yours as well, is they'll put the basing, like the sand on there, and then they'll go with a brush and they'll paint over to make it look like, maybe like if I took black, I could make like a road under between his legs, like a nice paved looking road or sand or whatever, and have that on there as well.
A little bit of dry brushing on that textured paint goes a long way.
Oh yeah. There's a fine basing texture that I was using. Can't really get in there, but it's basically kind of a sand grit and acrylic paint. And it goes on kind of like black. What I ended up doing for these Conquest stands is kind of built it up a little bit. You can see that there's like a little bit of extra. Hit it with a little brown, a little green, and then I ended up doing the snow and then these little winter tufts from our good friends at the Army Painter. These little grass tufts, I mean, they really like take it to the next level,
Oh, they do. All right, so I put a little bit of green foliage on this one, and then I'm just going to, again, dip it in and shake it around to make sure that all the areas get, and then just tap it away to get rid of the
tap it.
One trick I picked up is I've been using a lot of these texture paints. The first army I ever actually based, I wanted them. It was a whole lot of regular humans, and I figured that their theater of operations would be a lot of mud. They like ankle deep in crappy mud all day.
Oh yeah.
Every day. It would just it would have to suck just going to work for them. So So moving that mud around, I learned that brushes, like it can kind of stick to it, and a lot of texture paints end up doing that. So I got a bunch of these silicone rubber sculpting tools.
Oh yeah, I have those as well. I have those exact same ones. You're right; those things are amazing.
You're talking about these ones?
What?
I decided I was going to be a sculptor and get sculpting some green stuff and like some actual clay and stuff like that, and they were short-lived. So now they're for those applications. Right?
There you
go.
We
all got. Are we just finding out we're related or something?
Right.
I think so.
I'm growing my beard back. Damn.
Everybody's growing a beard.
Right. All right. So I applied my giant gallon of PVA glue, and now we did some of this sand to them here. I'm gonna let this guy dry. One thing I did find with, where did I put you? My Battlefield rocks from our good friends, the Army Painter. They're basically little bits of cork.
Yeah.
Which on a budget, you could find one of those like little pot holder things, that your mom was throwing away, or you stole from her, and break that up as little cork bits.
Yeah. Or steal their wine cork bottle tops.
Yeah,
right?
Wine cork bottle tops. But these little things, this is like a cheap way to get a whole bunch of cork.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that these guys don't hold with PVA glue as much. So once the PVA, I'll end up doing a little super glue. But Do it in a well ventilated area, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
That cork is incredibly. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. It's very versatile.
Yeah, and it's great to hit that with some paint. Definitely dry brush it, but make it look gray like a rock and earthy.
Mm-hmm.
I find that putting a little wash on the base as well, depending on what look you're going for, especially like the cork or some of this like sand, which is kind of ground up, either sand or little pieces of wood, really kind of has that dark earthy look to it. So like strong tone or something on it would be nice.
Yeah, it helps add some depth. Putting a bunch of the wash in there.
Nice. So with this one, I am going to actually just put sand on it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a little dry brushing and painting on it.
Yeah, you are, you old dog.
Yeah. You want to see the miniatures I brought to work on after we're done with this?
Yeah.
So I have a humpback whale anthropomorphic character.
Oh, very cool. He's going to do the Humpty dance later.
Yep. And then I've got what it looks like either a blue whale or a sperm whale this is probably more of a blue whale because he's huge.
That's awesome. Where are these guys from?
I got them at Adepticon at the booth behind the Res Nova booth. It was I think it was the AK or Scale 75 booth.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about now.
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of fancy anthropomorphic like pirate guys.
Yeah,
fancy schmancy.
So I like those. I'm going to use them as ocean deities in my Stormcrest campaign.
Ooh.
To kind of represent like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but because I also have, which I won't be working on tonight because one of them I have to fix is this killer whale.
Oh, look at that guy! Let me slow that camera. We get close up.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, that's cool. An orca.
Yeah, he's sick. But his axe broke, so I have to pin it. So I'll do that.
Are they resin or are they just?
Yeah, these are resin.
Oh, and that's great.
The last one is actually this walrus that I thought was super cool because he's got a shark head on his over his back.
Right here. Man!
And then he's also got a shark head like as a cod piece. And I'm like, this guy is a warrior supreme for sure. So he's definitely going to be a fun ocean deity, if you will.
Rider of the briny depths.
Right. So I'm pretty stoked about that guy right there.
Kind of reminds me of how Maui looked in Moana, when he turns into shark head. Giant shark head.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a little matte black here. Found some. Hopefully there's enough in here to do the job.
So how are those guys going to fit into? Well, maybe we're getting spoilers for people in the Stormcrest Chronicles. Maybe I shouldn't ask.
How are they going to be introduced?
Yeah.
The characters will be probably captured in some capacity and taken to each individual one over a time, or maybe they have to visit each one's realm within the seas to seek and curry favor with them, because they got to find something or some sort of item or something that's going to help them defeat the bigger bad guys in the world that are starting to manifest.
That's fun.
Yeah, as the ice age is ending and the magical ice is melting away, creatures that were suspended in animation in this magically induced ice age are starting to be released as undead, and so they're trying to figure out how to deal with that, and because it's all like a lot when the entire northern hemisphere of a planet is cast in an ice age, there's going to be a lot of aftermath, and and also the gods of the sea are not really like full blown gods; they're more like demigods, I guess. And they've been pretty happy with how things have been since the Ice Age. But a couple of them are also excited because as the ice melts, their realm will expand, and thus so will their potential powers based on the expansion of the seas and oceans and such.
What type of stats would you be giving these fellers of the sea?
What do you mean stat? Or did you say stats or staff?
Stats.
Stats. I mean they're going to be demigods, so like they're all going to be really strong. They're all going to be relatively high constitutions. The I think the humpback is going to be kind of like the lower intelligent one.
Okay.
That is kind of like picked on by the others. Just because he just comes across as kind of like a, hey guys, I'm just here to smash things, right? He's just kind of, I don't know. He just seems a little simple.
All right.
Whereas this one here is going to be wise and sees the future of the ocean's expansion as both a benefit and a curse in that um, a lot of the stability of his realm is going to be destabilized, and he's not really excited for all of that noise. So,
I didn't
but
really get to make out that guy's head earlier. That definitely looks more like a blue whale or something.
yeah, like a blue whale.
Yeah, that's
So,
explains the size too. That's a big fellow.
mm-hmm.
He's a big one.
He's a big guy, that one there.
The blue whale is the one from like is it mutual fund, or what is it? Like an insurance.
What?
Like an insurance commercial where a whale jumps out of the water.
No, that's a humpback.
Oh, is that a humpback? All right.
Yeah. The blue whale is the largest animal on the planet that we know of.
Nigh the kraken. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, right.
Gojira hasn't started moving around. Well,
Ooh,
Gojira wouldn't be a mammal though.
It's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently watched the new Kong or Godzilla versus or Kong, but the new one with the
What'd you think?
it was freaking a lot of fun. I had a blast watching it. I like, I think we've talked about this in the past that kaiju movies are super fun, and King Kong is obviously one of the more entertaining of them,
Right.
and iconic. Kong and Godzilla, but this one had Tiamat in it.
Oh,
It
what?
had, yeah, not our Tiamat, not like D&D Tiamat, but a kaiju that they named Tiamat. And then
That's
there was
new. That's got to be new. I
yeah,
don't remember one like
it
that.
had Mothra.
I love
It
me
had,
some opera.
right. It had the Scar King, which is another like Godzilla like creature. And then with a whole bunch of other gods, or I'm sorry, not Godzilla, but King Kong like creatures. And then there was uh, it was another like dinosaur looking one like Godzilla that breathed like a cold blast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
And
think that was on one of the original
I agree.
Godzilla.
I think it was. And but overall it was a fun, engaging romp in the realm of kaiju. And I was like, yeah, this is sick. So
What'd you watch it on?
I want to say it was on Amazon.
Okay, that tracks for me.
Yeah. Oh, TwitchCon San Diego tickets are on sale. Say less. I just got to post like a pop up ad on the Twitch channel here saying that San Diego TwitchCon tickets are on sale now.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny. All right, so we've done. On this one, I did like a little road between the legs of the mech. I don't know how well you can see it.
Let me solo that one. Oh yeah, that's a good amount of texture. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's nice that really those stones look great at. You don't even almost dry brush will help those, but they're not like a stark, too light of a color where you really have to do a lot to it. That's like
Right.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And then we got one with some of that moss lichen stuff on here, and then the one that's just straight based. And I'm going to straight base this last one as well. And then what I like to do is a little racing stripe around the edge of just black.
Yeah, that finishes it off.
And what's kind of funny is a lot of people have told me is like with their mechs that play BattleTech, they don't like to base them. They just like to paint the base black. So when they're playing on the boards, they're not making any messes. Because a lot of times your basing will fall off, right? So, but you know what I say to those guys? Base them. Because it's all about that base, right?
There you go. All your base belong to us.
Oh, your base. What is that from?
A very old Japanese video game.
Yeah, and then one of the very first like Flash videos.
It was a meme before they were known as memes.
Okay, all your base belong to us.
Base. It's like, and it's just like a slideshow. It's like the most simplified thing. Then they
Nice.
like put it on signs outside, and they like change like the logo of something and say all your base belong to us. And
Okay.
it's got the video game kind of music in the background, right?
Right. That's fun.
That's an internet history deep dive. It was fun to witness at the time. It was a bit Wild West back in those days.
Right.
Yeah. I worked for a multimedia company at the time, and we would find weird little things like that and send them to each other.
Was that with Chris?
Chris was the adjacent. Yeah, it was that time. But yeah, Chris was the adjacent multimedia company. There was like two, technically three down in this little startup incubator thing.
Oh,
Before
nice.
incubators were a thing.
Okay.
Now it's all the rage.
Nice.
Everybody's trying to hatch them eggs.
That's right.
Hatchables.
Oh, what to work on.
Nice. All right. And then, I'm going to do my little black base race stripe on these, and then these will be done, and I'll start working on the humpback whale there. And that thing will be sick.
I love those models that show up that have so much personality. You got to like build a story around them.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you watching, do you have any models that you've painted that you added more story to it, or added a whole story to it because maybe you didn't have something like that, like a original piece, kind of like these are the sea creature ones I have? I feel like you guys have got to have something like that.
Oh, well, I think I mentioned it in an episode before where I had like the knight whose lance broke, and that just kind of influenced any of my armies that had knights in it. Now they had to be the shattered lance.
Nice. Is that what inspired the hedgehog?
Well, the hedgehog doesn't have any horses in it, strangely enough.
Oh, you're right. It's just spearmen.
Yep. But I feel like I should break a couple of them because those things got some work over the weekend.
They sure did. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark wouldn't understand. He wasn't there.
That's true.
Yeah. So, everybody, if you've been watching, we did a Conquest League, and I was the leader in the league. Hooray for me. And then we decided to put a tournament on the tail end that also gave points to the league, which I'm bitter about. So they should have been separate. Rick, they should have been separate. But anyways, it didn't work out for me. I didn't get to go. And I only lost by 4 points not playing in the tournament. So I was like way up. But really,
Yep.
there was ways to like score points by painting. You could get 3 extra points for painting 3 units each phase. There was 5 phases in it, and writing up a little story. And I really didn't get my button gear until probably like the last 2, right?
Yeah.
So I could have definitely still won by just painting and doing some soft score stuff. But it was fun. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I am quite bitter that I didn't get to play, and more bitter that I lost the Tantor.
There will be more opportunities to get a Tantor because I know that you're putting together a Wadroon army, right, or unit.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah,
which the Tantor is absolutely a part of.
Yeah, that will get me the 300 points that I need to get me to 2,000.
Dang.
Ooh.
So yeah, it will be the perfect thing.
Nice.
But no, that's a lot of fun. I think I started gluing these guys together after work today. These Nord werewolves.
Oh, the werewolves. Nice.
So they're kind of like werewolves with the bigger meteor dudes. They're pretty quick, so maybe I'll start finishing gluing those up once these guys are done.
Yeah, that's cool.
When we talked, I was thinking of the other, the smaller dogs, not the full blown werewolves.
Oh, okay.
So now I got to look those guys up because they're awesome. I want to know.
Yeah, they're kind of like the Uggers, or kind of that whole brute mentality, but they're a little bit better, a little faster, more attacks. They get the flurry, which is kind of neat.
Nice.
Flurry, a McFlurry sounds delicious.
Or a blizzard. That's what we need to do. We need to get a food sponsor.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be great.
Like Dairy Queen would be a great food sponsor.
We'd be like Brad Pitt. We'd be like eating the whole time we're on camera.
Yep.
You notice that?
Would drive me crazy. The auditorily, I'd be like, ugh. I had to listen to anybody blurp their ice cream.
Chewing.
They're chewing. Oh my god. I know there's some people that love it, but I just don't get it.
Love the sound of it?
Yeah, there's some people out there that like the sound of someone's masticating is what it's called, right?
Right.
You went full on scientific with that one. You sure did.
Yeah.
Multisyllabic.
Gross.
They're mandibles.
Right. I'm one of those individuals that where there are certain sounds that are like
chalkboard.
Fingernails on a chalkboard.
There's a surprising number of people that just can't handle the sound of other people chewing.
Yeah, I cannot. It is
not. My dad does not like it. He's like, "Oh, turn on the radio." It's the theme it,
Yeah.
Which strangely was Yanni live at the Acropolis.
But if you want to see me, like, if you ever wanted to get information out of me, and this is for any foreign nations that want to get information out of me because I'm so important in this world. Put me in a room with a water drip. Just drip, drip, drip. 10 minutes, whatever you want to know. I got you.
Just get me out.
Yeah. Or if a dog cleaning itself, done. Just stop. Here is my social security number, all my bank account numbers. Take it all. Here are the launch codes.
Back when I was a waiter at Denny's, one of the ladies that I worked with,
Linny's.
Yeah. She could not handle it if you would bang a fork against your teeth. The sound of a metal silverware banging against teeth.
Yeah.
It would literally put her on her knees. Like
I can see it.
Just could not handle it.
Yep. That's another one. Not for me so much. But yeah, I can see how that would be something that someone would be like, no, my universe is being destroyed. But yeah. All right. So I've got mine based. I've got them race striped around the bottom as well. I let them dry, and then they're good to go. I'm pretty happy with them, with those BattleTech mechs. So I'm going to put some work on this humpback whale creature.
Yeah.
We have to give them a name too, a very like um, aquatic, but name of like I don't know.
It should kind of reflect his aspect, right? Because you
Yeah.
mentioned these are like the horsemen.
Yeah. So he's gonna obviously be like, you've got what is it? War, famine, pestilence, and death, right?
Yep.
So
Depending on
death,
which version of the books you get, yeah.
right? So the killer whale is gonna be death, right? Because he's got a wolf on the ice floe here that has been killed by him. I think the walrus could be famine or pestilence.
Yeah,
Whereas,
Tesla can be cool because he's got all like the body
but they don't,
parts.
but they don't have to be like named after those particular aspects of the. I want them to be the four horsemen, but they don't have to be the four horsemen as we know them. They're the four gods of the sea. They could be the god, the northern god could be, the humpback or the walrus because he's closer to the ice. The killer whale could be the western god of the oceans, and the humpback could be the southern, and then the eastern can be the blue whale.
Oh,
Pulling up a nautical star type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
what about I'm trying to remember the name of it. Well, like there when salt water finally gets so cold that it freezes, it turns into a tendril that
Mm.
will kill anything because it just sucks the heat right out of it. That'd be
I know what you're
whatever
talking
that's
about,
called, would be a great
and it, and
name.
it crystallizes really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
I'm looking. Brinicle.
Brinicle.
Maybe descending brine formed beneath. Well, no, that might not be what we're looking for, though.
Okay.
My brinicle's descending everybody.
If anybody watching has a cool name for like a nautical god that um, looks like a humpback whale, as you can tell by what I'm painting here. Please share it with us.
It is no, it's a brinicle, also the icy fingers of death beneath the Antarctic as their nickname.
Nice. Okay.
The
The
freezing
brinicle.
process pushes out salt, creating intensely cold, salty water that does not freeze because of the salt concentration. Oh, that's metal. I don't care if it's salty; it's metal.
You old salty sea dog.
I saw a video of one of those that they did where you see the brinicle come down and just touch a sea star, and that's it.
Mm.
It's not a sea star no more.
No, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing too where like that happens with Lake Michigan, where the water will like a wave will crash, and it'll just as it crashes and comes up onto the shore, it just turns into like these sheets of again, it's not like a sheet of ice, it's more like you said, like tendrils or like I can't really explain it.
I thought I saw an article that was talking about those as well. Let me see if I can find what that is.
Happens on lighthouses quite often. Yeah.
I bet it does. Yeah.
Like look up Lake Superior, you're gonna see a lot of that stuff.
For those of you that don't know, Lake Superior is freaking cold. Really big and
Always.
very cold.
It's always cold.
And
That's not a lake you go swimming in.
you can, but you have to be like August, and it's still pretty cold.
Yeah, and probably in a wetsuit, just to keep what little water's around your body
Get you gummy.
warm.
Apparently, you can fit all of the other Great Lakes in the United States would fit into
Superior?
Lake Superior. Yeah.
Yeah, it's humongous. It's so deep.
And there's like some room left, I guess. Is like how deep
That's
it is.
sick. All
Frost
right.
flowers are their nickname.
Ooh.
A vapor-related phenomenon similar to hoarfrost or freezing fog.
Ooh, there we go. Hoarfrost.
Yeah, that's a great one.
What'd you call me?
Yeah.
So Hoarfrost was a spell recently, right? In Age of Sigmar, and anyways, a lot of jokes. A lot of
Oh,
jokes.
Right.
All right.
Rhyme is another one. Rime.
Right. That's the so for Dungeons and Dragons, they've got the Icewind Dale campaign booklet, and it was called Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember that.
Yeah.
And I had to look up the root of it. Is it Hoar, Hoarfrost, and Hoary Hoary means like gray or white in appearance. So that could also say somebody who was very old and had gray or white hair and a white beard.
Nice.
So there's some etymology for everybody.
Nice. And
10 points
actually,
for Will.
yeah, that actually might be. We could call him Horvox or something like that,
Ooh,
Oh, I like that a
yeah.
lot.
right? Because he's gonna have after I base his flesh with this like blue gray, then I'm gonna go through with like a standard gray over certain aspects of him to make him even more so, to give him an aged look. And so
Yeah.
Horvox,
Building up a mythology now. I love
yeah.
that.
Guys are going deep. Pun intended.
What's the name of that grocery store out?
Horrocks.
Horrocks.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Horrocks,
Yep.
yeah.
Is it spelled the same way?
Horrocks.
Oh, okay.
This episode is now sponsored by Horrocks. They are a cool specialty kind of grocer.
They are.
I
They got
wish, man.
a whole like greenhouse, and they got a beer garden now, and they do live music
Okay.
out there. It's like a whole experience, you know.
Yeah.
They have one of the best salad bars around. The salad bar
Nice.
is top shelf.
All right. I've never been to it, to that store.
You should go. You'll be
I
raving
should.
about it.
It's
Yeah.
like there's one section of it that's a grocery store in size, and it's all candy.
Jesus.
They have a grocery store worth of candy, and then a whole like a grocery store worth of loose tea. All the vegetables that like you hear about in myth. You know, is that a parsnip?
Some
Parsnip
dragon.
is a mythological is a mythological vegetable.
That's the only one I could grab, guys.
If you're reading Peter Rabbit, maybe that's mythological.
That's hilarious.
As ordained by the god of tubers, tubercules.
Tubercules.
Gross.
Yes.
The strongest potato.
So one of our neighbors here by the store, who lives in one of the apartments above one of the buildings here, at night he'll walk around, and during the day he'll walk around the block, and like he's like he's on patrol. He kind of like makes sure like the homeless
Neighborhood
people
watch.
aren't like hanging around, and
Mhm.
he picks up trash and stuff, and um his name's Corey. He's a really good dude. And yesterday we have dubbed him Petronius because he goes on
Nice.
patrol. Or was it Petroleus? Petroleus. Yeah.
That's classy.
Yeah. So he is the demigod of patrolling the area.
Wasn't there a police academy? Neighborhood on patrol. It was like police academy like 2 or 3 or I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Oh
it was,
yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Is that the one where Bobcat Goldthwait turned into a good guy?
Yeah, he was like a punk kind of like gang member, right?
Yeah.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Was never my style of comedy.
I actually saw him live like at the local comedy shop here.
Connection?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Before they
nice.
closed down.
And that was
Nice.
a cool spot.
Yeah.
It was called Connections.
It was on the north side, yeah.
Okay.
It was probably one of those places that it was the in between spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as you're going through, but they used to have some big acts come through.
All right.
Yeah, they had a wall of signatures. I know they had Carlin in there at least once.
Wow.
Yeah, they used to have another place. What was that billiards hall? It used to be in Frandor there. It was called the
Pockets.
Comedy Zone for a minute.
Pockets.
Do you remember this?
I'm pretty sure that place was called Pockets.
Okay, Pockets. Yeah, they ended up making like a comedy thing out of it. And yeah, it was called
That
the
is
Comedy
funny.
Zone.
That is super funny. Pockets and what was the other comedy place you said?
Connections.
Connections. The one-word comedy spot.
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, why make it, you know, difficult? One of the things I find interesting about about the industry of tabletop and gaming is some of the names of stores. I feel like, though the store may be an amazing place and great, sometimes the name of the store doesn't tell the community what you actually do, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen some stores that don't have the word game or comic or comics and games or anything like that in their name, and just based on their name alone, you'd be like doctor's office.
Or a weird acronym or something like that. You know, like, what is
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorite ones, and I love the store by all means. I've been there. It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's called Infinity Flux. I'm like, is this a ears, nose, throat doctor's office that specializes in like acid reflux? But it's not. It's a comic and game store, and the owners are amazing, great folks.
there's a funny one up at like Mackinac City called Nerd Ferguson.
Been there many times. I think I got the shirt from there. Oh no, this one was a gift, but I got another president shirt for a buddy.
Nerd Ferguson. And that's a game store?
Oh, they have games and comics and like pop culture stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's funny.
It's more nerdy accoutrement than like a dedicated game store.
Okay.
Sort of like the Nerdtopia of the Nerdtopia
Right.
world.
Okay.
It's like a Spencer's Gifts that'll push its glasses up.
Oh, nice.
It's highbrow.
Yeah.
Very highbrow.
Spencer's Gifts. I remember I got what was it, a Roadkill Cafe. Remember those stupid posters? I must have been in like fourth grade.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, I need this. They're like, it's disgusting, Mark. I got it.
Go with my Garbage Pail Kid collection.
Exactly. But Dad, I need it.
I need this.
That's hilarious.
Then I felt like Spencer's got a little racy. You know what I mean? It's like so you'd go for your bachelorette gifts or something. It was a different store after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what happened to my fun posters?
Right. Yeah, I don't go into Spencer's anymore.
Yeah, that was always there. I learned it just was like as a kid, you stopped in the front.
Oh, they wouldn't let you back there. Oh, yeah.
No, if you just kept walking, then you'd start seeing the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like as a kid, I probably would have been like, nope.
Not for me.
All right. And as an adult, I'm still kind of like, nope.
Yeah. Get the lava lamps and the black light posters.
Yeah. I don't need these fuzzy handcuffs. I'm not a cop.
This is for teddy bear policemen, right?
Yeah,
right?
It's gotta be. I like that. Right, please.
Gotta be. Not just bear policemen.
That's funny.
All right, I've done it.
You done it?
By golly, I've done it. I've successfully quickly based. Technically, this would be battle ready, right? And you could probably get some soft points for it. It would be crappy, but it's tabletop ready. You know, so it's got your three paints and it's based technically.
Heck yeah!
Not winning no awards right now, but
no, but you'd get your points, and that's what would get you over the top.
That would have got me over the top for my other league, right?
Yeah.
This stuff's drying. I think I did a little wash on this feller.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see them at all. So it kind of muted some things down a little bit. And I was going
Yeah.
for like kind of that black and gold, and I ended up going a little more gray with it. Um, isn't it funny? You prime everything gray, then you paint it 5 other times black, and then you lighten it up a little dry brush, and it's pretty dang near that same base gray that I got it to.
Nice.
But looking cool, and I definitely think that the strong tone wash helped out.
Yeah. This guy is like if the Hulk were a whale.
Awesome.
He's just buff. He's got veins popping out in his hands and
Oh man,
over his biceps. You're just
Is
like,
that
yeah.
is that the killer whale?
No, this is the humpback.
The humpback. Oh, I'm sorry.
The killer whale I gotta fix because
apologies.
his axe broke.
You got a crack in his axe?
He got a crack in his axe. That's right.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we got. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say is on the back of him too. He's got like all this like barnacles and some seashells and a starfish and all this other stuff. And I'm like, is this guy like crack? What a Tamatoa from Maui or Moana? That
Ooh.
that sea
Yeah.
crab.
Oh yeah, he's great. The guy from Flight of the Conchords was a Jermaine.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
kind of got a David Bowie vibe too when he's singing.
He does. You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
He's been doing some cool voice work.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great one for having a small child. I find that not annoying. Like some of the more children focused animated movies, sometimes the songs can get very repetitive and kind of get to you. And I found that Moana's watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Cherish it. Cherish that you got that.
Yeah. Wait till you get to the Wiggles.
No, no Wiggles for me.
No,
Think,
you're not gonna.
no Wiggles. I think the Miss Rachel is the closest. Have you seen this YouTube
No.
sensation? She's worth like $10 million plus. She's kind of like a homegrown Mr. Rogers.
Basically, yeah. It's the same kind of like general goodness.
But they teach like sign language, and I guess her son wasn't able to speak, so she was an elementary ed teacher herself, and then so she does a lot of like, phonics and how to pronounce things and how your mouth will look as you're pronouncing them. So it's pretty good.
Yeah,
But it's crazy. The kids always like more and like like signing for food and like I'm like, this is crazy. I don't have my eyes open yet, and you're already smarter than me.
My kids were a little too old for Miss Rachel, but I just looking into like different dad related stuff. It's hard to avoid how much good she is doing. That's just a good person.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
I had to deal with the Wiggles when my two youngest were in that era, and it's funny is I still have a couple of the songs like stuck in my head sometimes. Like Fruit Salad is one of them. A song called Fruit Salad, and it's just like
Get
yikes.
you.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's very repetitive, right? But I think it's the repetitiveness that helps teach language.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, and also the idea of the repetition in all things only makes you better at those things, right? So let's take a lesson from that in our painting,
If you stood there.
Yeah, so that because we said this many times, and you may be just now tuning in and watching us here on Path of the Brush. And one of the things that a lot of people that I've talked to at like conventions or just here at the store that are like, I've always wanted to paint miniatures, but I'm not going to be good at it. I'm like, well, how many have you painted? Well, 0. Well, you're right. You're not. You're not going to be good at it when you first start painting miniatures. And that's okay because repetitiveness and practice makes you a better painter and a better artist, a better writer, anything that you want to do that you want to be good at. You got to put the time into it. Right. And so if you want to be a better painter, put the time in. Be repetitive. Find the skills and the um, techniques that you want to learn, and re- repetitiveness on those techniques are going to just help you. Because I'm guessing, Will, when you first started painting, you probably weren't putting out the stuff like I've seen you put out for that one gentleman that's been getting commissions from you recently.
No, oh no, I was.
Because those are amazing, by the way.
Well, thank you. No, I was sloppy garbage.
Mhm.
Easily say that stuff was not great, but it was a paving stone, right? Without those first steps, I wouldn't have gotten here.
Right.
Yeah, 100% agree. Hot garbage. That is a good way to say it. Over.
I mean, we've seen, Mark, you've got some amazing miniatures that you've done as well. I can't think of any that you've done that I haven't been like, what the hell?
I gotta find. Let me see if I got something around here. It's like one of the early D&D.
Because like your Jotun for Conquest are sick.
Yeah, they turned out good,
Yeah.
We keep going back to it, but talking about basing, this one was a fun one, right? Because I ended up doing that texture, did the snow. It already had like this cool half shipwreck type thing.
Yeah.
And filled it in with some of this.
There we go.
Some of that winter cups. This guy was a lot of fun to do,
He looks great.
Yeah.
And when he's on the table, when you're playing him, you put him on the table, it's like, I don't want to mess with this guy. No.
It is intimidating,
Yeah.
Well, Jotnar mess you up. One of the guys in the tournament had 2 frost Jotnar.
Good Lord.
That was scary. Those guys are scary.
Yes.
With all the rhyme and the hoarfrost.
Hoarfrost.
Yeah, that was a callback.
Agreed. Good call.
Squared the circle.
You did. So good.
I'm running out of all of my. Make sure you put the cap on your Army Painter super glue because
it will dry.
Bad things can happen.
It reacts to air.
Weird, right?
Ridiculous.
Like the thing it does. Yeah, and if you're like getting into painting and don't feel like you can't go like putting it out there to show other people, that's it's less of a risk than you think. You're just going to make friends.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Are either of you participating in the Beholder contest here at the store?
I have a Beholder. I'm not, unfortunately.
What?
When does it do?
When does that start?
It started on the 1st. And it's going. You have to have it turned in by the 21st, so it has to be turned in by next Friday. Because on the 22nd, which is Free RPG Day at friendly participating game stores across the nation, at our store, the community will get to come in and vote on which one of the Beholders they like the best. I'm painting one. Jeff is painting one. But obviously, we can't win. But it's fun to be a participant.
Might have to pick one up on Friday.
Yeah.
Nice.
That could be fun.
All right. I put the little dab of super glue on these guys here.
Nice.
And I'm actually using some Gorilla super glue gel because it's not too quick on you. You know what I mean? It doesn't gives you some time to attack it.
Nice.
When I first started putting some minis together, I think it was for Shadow of Brimstone. I don't know if you ever put those minis together.
I have. Yeah.
So I was putting some together, and I glued my fingers together so bad that I had to exact out like my fingers. And I was just like,
what?
I was like, do I tell my wife she needs to take me to the emergency room? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how bad is this gonna be? It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
We got scared, as me. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. So we got a pretty packed house here tonight. I think we got like 6 or 8 people here playing Star Wars Shatterpoint, and
excellent.
I think one table is playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. So
there you go. Sorry about that. No, keep
Go
going.
ahead.
I was being rude. Go.
No, I was just going to say Wednesday night here at the store is AMG night, so Atomic Mass Games. So all the Star Wars games, miniature games that they make in the Marvel Crisis Protocol game are being represented and played tonight, and will be every Wednesday here at Hoplite Games.
That's nice to have something on the calendar every
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and it brings the community together, which is awesome.
Yeah. That was a tough moment for me when I was getting started gaming with like Kill Team is what got me to actually go to a store and try to roll dice with people, and like trying to find people to play with was difficult.
Right.
But having a store dedicate that kind of time to all the games like that, like there it is, that's on the calendar. You just go at that time. Love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny as the guys have said they would like to see. So the paint scheme that you did for that terrain piece, Will, that looks like it's right out of Star Wars Rebels. The group had said, "Oh man, we'd love to see a full kit of that painted as the Star Wars Rebel theme." I was like, "Dang it!"
Well, how many more pieces are there? That's not too bad.
Yeah, there's not that many. I think maybe 4.
Oh, I could do that. Terrain's like meditating.
Yeah.
Big broad strokes.
Broad strokes, for sure.
All right, I got the little cork on there.
Nice.
You see that
Oh,
there.
yeah. Those look great.
So, yeah, once you I'll do a little strong tone on them once this glue dries, and then,
Nice.
I hit them with like a couple different dry brush. And then, kind of good to go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the pavement to dry for these guys. I want to get some more little bits to put in there to give it some flavor. I'm going back to the undead horde.
Nice.
You want to get this done.
Nice.
Skilly man.
Skillies. All right.
So besides that, we were working on like the briny north for one of those guys. But what other like oceanic apocalypses would those horsemen represent? If that's what you're going for.
I don't know if I'm actually going for the apocalyptic version of a deity as much as I'm going for the territorial.
Okay.
So like the big blue whale guy, I feel like should be known as King something strong, like King Brahma, right? So like Brahma is a bull, but what is a equivalent and whales are known as bulls if they're the male version, right? So what is a synonym for bull that has a same kind of like connotation of strength and leadership and power, I guess?
Well, the blue whales, I had to look this up too to make sure I was right, but blue whales are migratory, so he could kind of be representative of the currents, because those are strong and bullish too, right?
Yeah, they sure can, like the North Atlantic current.
Yeah, like the trade current. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's a synonym? I'm sitting here going cinnamon. What's a cinnamon for that?
It's delicious.
My Michigan public schooling is coming out. Or I'm having a micro stroke.
No, let's not say that.
For currents, we've got some synonyms like drift, Gulf Stream, course. Course is fun one. Flow, and then direct like specific names from like the Corrigio current. Tendency, direction.
Go back to was it course?
Course, yes.
Now let's spell it differently. KORSECH.
Now we're talking.
EASECH. Korsh. King Korsh. Korsh.
I like the king.
Yeah. There is a tide known as the king tide.
The king tide. Ooh, that would be interesting. The king tide is a result of where he swims through the oceans. That tide, the tide itself is pushed, to the maybe the tides rise, and there's a potential of like maybe a tsunami based on his ability to project himself through the waters, right?
Yeah, I mean the king tide happens twice a year, so if he's migrating around the whole world, that
He's
kind of
got to
makes sense.
survey, and
Yeah,
he's got to survey his kingdom because he would be king of all the oceans, right? I almost feel like I need to find a fourth smaller figurine to represent the four corners of the world, right? Like the compass, right?
yeah.
And then he represents the king of all the waters. He's our Namor or Aquaman, I guess. If
Oh,
you're
here's a good word to work with too. The Perigean, or the
Region,
perigee, is the point of the Earth that's nearest the Moon during the orbit, which carries the spring tide with it.
the Peregrine,
Yeah, or Perigean. So I think it's Perigean.
Perigian,
Yeah,
the
perhaps.
Take it to the Googles.
King
Yeah,
Periginus.
there you go.
I love it.
King Periginus. He seems like he'd be one of those kings that would be like Queen Daenerys, Stormborn, the Unburnt, Mother of Dragons. He would have titles like that, right?
It is pronounced Perigean.
Oh, okay. King Perigean. The,
I
the,
mean, but
the
your pronunciation kind of you give it your own spin, right? So you can own that. He's the king that you made.
right. But maker of waves, the tide bringer,
Oh yeah,
all these titles, um, which is what makes for a good like fantasy ruler, right? One that has, you know, um, the Lord of the Deep type stuff, right?
yeah. So what, like one character says his name and another one just to like add some narrative weight to it. You mean the Tidebringer? You're- the
That would
Lord? Are you talking about him?
Right. The tide bringer, the Lord of the Deep, all those things, right? So that would be super fun,
The living typhoon. Yeah.
right? Master of monsoons.
And there's some play with those storms too.
Right.
Well, do they have different names depending on which quadrant, northeast, southwest?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just in the mix of like truly doing the world building aspects of the Stormcrest world. Um, so like I've got the entire northern hemisphere is an ice age, which is currently in its melting phase because some nefarious acts have taken place to destroy the devices or one of the devices that was the cause of this great ice age. And so, um, as the waters are rising and the shorelines are receding because of the rising tides, um, I feel like in that the power of what was it, Perigean,
Perigean? Yeah, Perigean. Yeah.
uh, or Perigian, the tide maker. His powers would be growing because his influence on the world is growing based on the massive volume of new waters and that are being carving out through the land, and you know, um, and I feel like he might get a little drunk with power, and that could be a bad scene.
Oh yeah. It's hubris. That's
Yes,
classic. Got a narrative set up already. Throw some
yeah,
hubris at him.
yeah, because I just feel like a character like that, who's already the Lord of the Waters for a world that is half ice, right? Is now going to have all that water flow back, and he's already. I mean, look at this guy. He is just a monster, right?
Oh, what a beauty!
Right. He's got
Yeah.
this big sword. He's got this trident, and he's fully armored. Right. So he armors himself like a surface dweller, but it doesn't impede his ability to swim or act under the waters. He has no restrictions, so
And that
um,
doesn't convey like a benevolent ruler. That is, that's a warlord right there.
that's a warlord who's only now about to get, and he's fickle like the seas themselves, right? He can be a calm seas one day and then a raging hurricane and storm the next, based on just if someone wrongs him or slights him or he feels slighted in any manner. I feel like that would be a part of his personality, and he can call upon the other undersea demigods, which it would be this humpback whale creature here, right? Who would be definitely like, I think he would almost be like the first that would ever show up. Like he just knows, oh, got the call, got to go, do the thing, smash the stuff, right? And he's kind of like the worker orc from Warcraft. Yes, my lord. As you wish.
Does if he ever hears the name like Ahab or Pequod, does he just fly into a frenzy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't be a Moby Dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be a Moby Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I see what you did there. Does he like Tuesdays? All right, that's as highbrow as we're going to get, I think.
I think so. I think we're going to, yeah, right there.
We don't need to Herman Melville much more.
Right.
Sorry.
Jesus, look at you dropping them. So I feel like that's what he would be like, but I also feel like because the walrus one has a connection to both the land and the sea, he might be a little less like in line to be like, doing as he's told. Like he might be the rebel amongst the demigods, because obviously he killed 2 sharks and wears them as trophies on his body, right? So he's gonna have this whole other persona of like, yeah, I'm part of the sea, but I'm also, I like these shorelines. They're really nice, and I can rest up here, and I don't have to. When the call comes, I don't necessarily. It's like putting my lord on hold. If I'm not in the waters, I don't have to hear his calls. Right? Right. And then this guy is just like, he's like war, right? Or he's just right up out of he's an orca, a killer whale, and he just is like, oh, they're on the land, they're food. They come near the water, they're food. Right?
It's his way or the highway.
Right.
And the highway is what he calls his mouth.
Yeah. And I think he too would be someone that would very much be a loyal foot soldier to Perigean, because I like that name, Perigean.
That's a great name.
Yeah,
it works out well. It's very evocative. So here's a narrative to think about. A lot of you got 4 guys there, right?
Yeah.
Ninja Turtle personalities.
I feel like absolutely. This right here would be Ralph. Raphael. Just the brute.
Yeah, you got your thinker, your rebel, your leader, and your party guy, your fun, your comedy.
Okay.
That would be the
walrus.
The walrus is comedy.
For sure.
He would say weird things like, I am he, as you are he, as you are me.
Yeah, I also feel like he would also be maybe even speak of himself in the first person.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right? And it would drive everybody nuts. We know your name. Stop it.
He'd say stuff like, I'm the Eggman. They're the Eggman. I'm the walrus.
He could have a really awesome name, but he always wants to be called Ron.
Right.
or something like that, right?
My friends
Hello.
call me Ron.
Hello. My name is Delphinius Fire, or Delphinius of the fire shores. You may call me Ron. Your name's Delphinius. Never was quite keen on that name. Thanks, bud. Still
You're the
something.
one that killed that Elder Kraken uprising. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ron did that.
Yeah.
Elder Kraken.
Ron does stuff like that from time to time.
Yep. That's something Ron would do. I kind of feel like how would you like enunciate words with the big tusks in your mouth? Is it kind of like this? You kind
Put a
of have
paintbrush
to.
in your mouth.
You kind of. Nah, I don't think this will. I
Oh,
don't think that'll work very well. It'll be like, let me grab. I have two other brushes. I think might be more.
we are now a prop comedy show.
That's right. And you're like,
I'm Ron.
I'm Ron.
And that was the last show that Path of the
What was
Brush
that?
ever did. It was June 12th at 8:12 p.m. They
I kind of
pulled
feel
out
like
the
I could be a walrus type. And if any
Yeah.
great whites come my way, I put an end to them. Oh, that's what he could sound like. Um, the older guy that is always in like those
Wilford Brimley?
African, like Wilford Brimley, but more with a British sound to him, where he's like, he was an explorer in his youth, and he's been all over the jungles of Africa. And I remember this time I took out, I was the white apes of the Congo, deep Congo basin.
Sir
When I
David
was,
Attenborough?
yeah, you could think David Attenborough, or you could think like, what was that? Do you remember the old cartoon Mr. Peabody?
Yes.
And there would
Yes.
always be a cut jump cartoon within that cartoon of an old explorer sitting in his chair with the globe, and he'd spin it, and he'd like, that reminds me of the time, right?
Yes.
Mr. Peabody.
Yeah. The old wizened explorer.
Yeah. I kind of feel like he
Too
might
bad
have
what
that.
happened to that guy in 1994. That's a real shame.
Well, in 1994, a lot of things happened. And it's
Right.
funny is like, as they're sitting here and you see all these people that are in the store, right? And there's quite a few. One of the biggest things that is probably not known to them is the tragedy that occurred that split our timelines. Um, a lot of people say it was the Hadron Collider, but I will tell you what it really was. Because in 1994, from outer space, a runaway planet collided between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Mankind civilization was cast in ruin. Which are we still in that phase? I don't know, maybe. But
Look around.
2,000 years later, a new world rises from the old. A strange new world, one of savagery, science, and sorcery and super science. That one always gets me a little befuddled. Sorcery and super science,
Then weave together.
right? But in all tragedies, in all times of strife, someone will break their bonds, and one man does. He breaks his bonds to fight for freedom with his faithful companions, Ukla the Mock and Princess Ariel. He pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous son's sword, for he is, and forever shall be, the savior of our future, Thundar the Barbarian. There he is. What I need to do is I need to get some miniatures made of, hey, what's up, Ibiza? Thanks for raiding us. We appreciate y'all. We need to get some Thundar the Barbarian miniatures made so that we could have a Thundar paint night.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Right?
Date night with Thunder. That's the new song.
Lords of Light and Demon Dogs.
Adolescent thoughts.
And Ukla the Mock. Some think he's just like a bear, but he's really a cat creature.
Yeah, I want to petition to change our calendar to be before Thundar era and after Thundar era. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah.
We should get that sorted out.
BTA and ATA,
Yeah.
or ATE. BTE and ATE. Before Thundar era and after Thundar era. That would be freaking hilarious. 1994 BTE.
I got one of these werewolves gone. Wargs.
Oh, nice. That
Yeah.
looks so good.
I got to get away from me. I'm inundated by the glue.
Yeah, for all of you that are just now tuning in or rating us right now, just want to let you guys know we started the episode. Our last two episodes were we were working on BattleTech miniatures, and we finished those today by basing them. You can see in my overhead camera here, we've got the ones that I worked on with their bases all on there now, and once we finished those this episode, we just kind of jumped into painting some other random miniatures we had within arm's reach. And I'm working on these on this humpback whale, anthropomorphic humpback whale that I'm going to be using in what I call my homebrew campaign called the Stormcrest Chronicles, where I run the local kids from our youth group called Hoplite Heroes here at Hoplite Games. Uh, they play in that world, and these are going to be some of the nautical deities of the realm. And so I've got the humpback whale right here, which is super cool. We got a killer whale that is on an ice floe that has killed like a saber-toothed tiger, and his axe broke. I have to pin it or fix that. I may actually have to just use some green stuff because that looks like it might be too thin to pin. And then the big overall god of the seas will be this big blue whale guy right here. And he's super, super cool, fully armored with a trident and sword. And he's just a beast of a model. And then the last one that I have is this walrus creature who has a shark head on his back armor piece, and then one over his as a cod piece. So it's kind of funny. And then he has this like devastating, like it looks like a jawbone that's been bound together from multiple different creatures of the sea. So it's kind of cool. It's a very cool miniature.
Oh,
That
very
works
nice.
so well too, because he's got that kind of that weapon has like a moon look to it, so it kind of works with the Perigean thing that you're working on.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Some of those guys, the mechs too.
Yep. There you go. They look so good.
Then I think I'm going to actually bust out some of this Army Painter Winter Tough.
Winter Tufts.
And I'll show you how this works. I don't know if you've ever got toughed with it. Don't get toughed with me.
Well, I'm the toughest.
It comes on those like remember those like little dots as like the 1950s candy came out.
Those
like,
are not Dippin' Dots.
and they're terrible. Oh, don't even.
Oh, you're talking about the hard candy.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah, it's like they taste like food coloring. They kind of come on paper like that. But you just grab your handy dandy Army Painter unibrow markers, and yeah, they got a little bit of like stick tack already kind of on the back there.
Yeah.
And just position where you're thinking. I find it's always nice just to juxtaposition here of where it might go, and boom, then you got yourself some little Winter Tough, just like that, and then position with like a little rock and some other little sand pebbles. You're like off to the races,
Yeah, he looks so good.
Yeah.
So do that, and with a couple of the guys here, and do one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that yours are gonna look super cool on like the desert terrain setups that we have here at the store.
Oh yeah,
because we definitely have to, even if it's just a game of Alpha Strike, get these models on the board and have them fight each other.
Yeah, I think that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, we'll get our local BattleTech guy Bill to maybe give us a demo on how to do that and get a good game in. It'll be a lot of fun.
And no
hey
worries
guys,
about,
sorry had to finish saying bye to the lobby. No worries. Hate to raid and run, but it's a 1:20 a.m. here. Hope you guys have a lot of fun. Everything looks awesome so far. Hey, Abiza, thank you so much. We appreciate y'all swinging in and raiding us and saying hi. And for everybody that is in the raid that's hanging out, if you haven't done so yet, please follow the Gen Con TV Twitch channel here by hitting that heart, hitting that bell so you get all the notifications when we go live, because there are some amazing content creators here on Gen Con TV. Granted, we are pretty cool here at Path of the Brush, but you've got Peter and the versus the Machine, Rem Alternus, you've got Table Takes, you've got the Brothers Murph, you've got all sorts of amazing content creators and live streams featuring live play of different, like there's a Vampire the Masquerade live stream. There's so much cool stuff, and you don't want to miss any of it. And you might just find your next favorite show. So hit that heart, hit that bell, and follow Gen Con TV. Wow, I sound like I've done that before.
Yeah, maybe a couple times. It is kind of shout out o'clock too.
Yeah, it sure is. So yeah, we probably should be shouting out our sponsors here at Path of the Brush. Huge shout out to the Army Painter. We appreciate them being our partner in paint and partner in play, not only for the Path of the Brush, but for all the things that we do here at Hoplite Games with the kids, the podcast, our Citizen Gamer podcast, and the paint and takes that we do at like C2E2 and New York Comic Con and other amazing conventions throughout the year. As a partner with us, they are helping us build a community and build painting as a hobby that people can do even if they don't want to play the games. Getting them around a table, doing something that is calming and fun is just great. So big shout out to Army Painter. Shout out to Tabletop Gurus. That would be Mark's news site on all things gaming. So check them out at tabletopgurus.com. And Hoplite Games for allowing us to do all this silliness right here in their game room, which is awesome. And also to Gen Con and Gen Con TV and everybody over there who have given us this opportunity to interact with you, the community, and hopefully get some people inspired to pick up a brush and start your own path of miniature painting. And that just warms our heart. If one person today picks up a brush and starts painting, I think we've done our jobs, and we hope to do that every time.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. And also to Game Envy, the makers of the brushes that we use here. With the Phalanx Synth by Game Envy. They're also the company that makes the water cups that I have here. And I think we all have one, the collapsible water cup.
Yes, sir.
Which is really cool. So if you're a mobile painter that likes to go around and do things, you can empty it out, dry it out, and collapse it down and put it in your little paint kit, and you're on the road doing all the good things. So shout out to all those folks. And if you can, go follow them on their socials or YouTube channels as well. So there we were. We did it. We did it.
Hooray.
It's like an episode of Dora. Thundar would be proud.
Would he? Yeah.
Thundar would be proud. All right. Clean up under here. This guy's got a cod piece too that is, I think, made of cod. I don't know. It's very strange.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a sight gag and a sight pun.
Right?
That guy. There's your dad joke, God.
That's right. This is the one that... No, have you watched the Harley Quinn animated series on HBO?
I have not.
All right.
No.
It's not a series you watch with your kids. There's a lot of adult themes and language in it, but it is super funny, right? And the way that they portray Bane from Batman in it is so good, right? Because obviously it's more of a comedy animated series than it is a serious noted animated series, in that like Bane has his voice that they used in, oh, you think you know what you're talking about, I'm Bane, and it's got all that weird deep math face thing going on, but they treat him like junk. And I feel like this humpback will be treated like junk by all the other demigods. They're like, you can't sit here, you got to sit over on this smaller rock over there. And then he'd be like, why do I have to sit over here? I'm deserving. It's like, what have you done lately?
I'm deserving.
And then he's like, I'll just kill all of you, all of you others. I'll become the new Lord of the Oceans. What'd you say? Nothing.
Move along. Nothing to see here.
Right.
So is
So
he
if
the
you,
smart one that would have like plots?
no, all of his plots are the worst. If he were trying to plot against any of the other demigods, they'd all be like, "What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about like trying to kill me? No. Yes. No.
Probably not.
Are you gonna try to club me with that? No,
No.
definitely
Not
not.
today. Not
Yeah,
while you're looking.
right. Um, and if you watched Office Space, Milton, I was
Oh yeah,
like,
stapler.
that's my stapler. I'll burn this place down. Right. So they treat Bane kind of like how Milton is treated in that, and Bane, like Milton, is always talking about I'll blow you up because his favorite thing, because Bane's favorite thing is explosions, not explosions, explosions.
That's hilarious.
He's just a dum dum, and then he falls in love with Doctor Freeze's wife.
Oops.
The one that's in the chamber.
Yeah, so that episode in the series is kind of, it's actually really heartbreaking in a way. But Doctor Freeze, I'll just spoil it for everybody because that's what I do. Doctor Freeze doesn't make it, but he's able to save his wife, and she's back, and she's now like without Doctor Freeze, and so she kind of goes off the binge a little bit, uh, and is just like the worst person ever, with no powers. She's just a mean person, but Bane falls in love with her and tries to like show her his affections in the most dumb ways, I guess you could say. Like she's talking about this pasta maker that she got that isn't working, so he goes to Italy to find this piece to fix her pasta maker, and then ends up staying there to learn how to make handmade pasta and becomes like a pasta like professional chef, and then goes back and with the device or piece and makes her this amazing pasta or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I fixed that. I bought a new one weeks ago." you know,
But I got you
but
this pasta piece. Yeah.
right, but I did all this, and I was. It's just like he can't win. He just can't win. And Lex Luthor and the Joker and all those guys definitely make him out to be the butt of a lot of jokes and stuff. So obviously, I'm going to enjoy and like that character because I have always liked Bane as a
Mhm.
character, but this comedic take on him is possibly my favorite. So,
I've always been fond of him, like, because he's kind of an anti-hero as he matured, and he
yeah.
was, like looking out for kids.
Hmm.
That resonates.
Yeah, for sure. I just find it funny too that he was a luchador wrestler before he became who he was, and the crime villain who uh, in the comic books, he was just this like media luchador.
And I understand that parents were a little bit worried back when that story came out that
Hmm.
the message that they were sending was any appropriately juiced pro wrestler could beat Batman in a fair fight.
Yep.
That's
And that
yeah,
was like the era of pro wrestling, right? Like the golden
yeah.
age
Oh
of pro
man,
wrestling,
those were the days.
right?
I mean, when he broke his back in the comic books, that was something. You're just like, no, like
Right?
what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was like back to back. They were just breaking the heroes. Did they just kill Soups too?
Yeah, they killed Superman right around that era too. I think it was within a 4-year time frame because I want to say it was 1992 is when Superman died, and also around the same time as when uh, Jason Todd was killed off as well. Um, and that was a funny comic book thing where you got to
Oh man.
call in to vote on whether he should live or die, and he died because the votes were so strong against it because he was not a very well liked Robin. But since his return as the Red Hood and all that, he's actually become a very, very interesting and fun character to have around. and he's still part of the Bat family. But yeah, it was like 2 years later, I think it was issue 500 of Nightfall, Batman, and it was part of the Nightfall series story arc where Bane breaks the Bat, you know, and every time he sees Batman in that cartoon, he's always like, "I will break you," and Batman is like this. Oh, he's just a spoiled brat. He's like, "I don't want to do that, Alfred. I'm not going to do any pouts," and Alfred treats him like a child. It's so good.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to check it out. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, that whole Jason Todd thing was it was fun how they took it and how that had consequences down the line, because Batman is so good at handling loss.
Yep. He compartmentalizes a lot of it.
Yeah,
and it was kind of interesting to see that he had a hard time compartmentalizing the loss of Jason Todd.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. So I think we may need to cut it early today, and the reason is, and I'm going to give you guys all the insight as to why we're going to cut early today. I am going tomorrow. I have a flight out of Detroit going to Virginia Beach.
Oh yeah.
My son, my youngest son, Lucas, is graduating high school on Friday.
Congratulations, Lucas.
Yeah, congratulations, my boy. And I haven't seen him in like 2 years, and that's not great. So it'll be my first time seeing him in 2 years for his graduation. It's going to be a really great time, and I have not packed yet. I've done my laundry, but I have not packed. And so I do need to get to that. And then I feel like 15 minutes or a little less than 15 minutes is going to be just fine for our show today. That if we don't make it to 8:45. So if you guys are good with it, let's do our shout out. Again, follow Gen Con TV, follow the Army Painter, follow Game Envy, follow Tabletop Gurus, follow Hoplite Games, and we'll see you. As I am Rick.
I'm Will.
And I'm Mark.
All right, and we'll see you at a friendly local game store.